Hey, what's up guys, and thanks for tuning into the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers War for Cybertron Titan Class Scorponok from Earthrise. But before we get started, if you haven't yet already done so, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another awesome review. Now, hot on the tail of Kingdom Arc, which we took a look at last time, here we have the Titan Class Earthrise Scorponok. And again, this guy is absolutely massive. I'm starting off with the actual figure because the box is way too big to really kind of fit on camera. If I do look at the box, it's probably going to be at the very end, but most likely, just like Kingdom Arc, I probably won't take a look at the box. So sorry for those that really want to take a look at the box. I'm sure you can find like tons of photos online on Google for the box. So starting off with this figure here, Scorponok is actually a triple changer. So here we have him in his city or battle station configuration. So here we see we got a big ramp. We got some nice silver, metallic dark gray or gunmetal paint. We have some metallic blue here as well. We have some nice fluorescent, or not fluorescent, but very bright orange here, as well as back there, which is kind of like the throne room or the command center. We got some silver paint here on these towers, and we got some nice bright green over here on the legs. Obviously, these are legs, but I'm guessing these are kind of like roads. And we also have these ramps here, which I don't know if you can see that are painted orange as well. So that's very, very nice. Now, basically, as a battle station or whatever, you can connect other battle stations to this guy. I don't know if you can actually see that. I don't want to move it too much. There's a connection port right here, which you can actually connect to, say, Omega Supreme or any other figure that really had one of these connection ports, such as Astro Train, or even, I think, in the instructions, they actually advertised this to combine with, I believe it was Skylinks, or there was I think there was a Hasbro Select set that came with the Space Shuttle Micromaster guys. I don't remember the exact names, but that's what they advertised this guy to be able to connect with. So that is that. Now, in terms of this mode, there's not really much unless you really want to just like get some play value out of this. This is pretty much just like a display piece. He doesn't have too many, I would say, gimmicks in this mode. We do have this hatch that can open up. That actually, you can see it kind of fits flush there, so that's very nice. And in here, it's kind of like a little, like a trap door or like a jail cell for people or Transformers or Autobots that he wants to capture. And in here is actually a perfect storage spot. They actually tell you to store this one in here for the head. Now, for those of you guys that actually don't know, the original Scorponok was a Titan Master. And basically what that meant was his head was a separate transformer, and basically this would transform into his head and pilot the giant body of Scorponok. So here we actually have what's called Lord Zarak. This guy is called Lord Zarak, and this is just the Scorponok head configuration. Now, this actually transforms, like I said, this ends up being a deluxe size transform, which is pretty crazy, right? And to transform that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these horns off the side, which are painted in a very bright orange, very, very cool. And we also have his big visor here, which is painted in a nice bright red color, as well as some red paints on here as well for the scorpion eyes. Now, to transform this guy, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this top purple section, we're going to pop that up, lift that up just like so, and then that'll allow us to kind of just unhinge this entire kind of front forehead piece up. And we do see that he has kind of bright green eyes under there as well, but sadly they're permanently covered because there's no real way to kind of flip this visor in or out. Now, we do see a screw. If you really wanted to show the eyes, you can kind of unscrew that screw and just take the visor off, but I'm okay with having the visor. That's how he looked like originally, so I'm completely fine with that. So we're going to have this piece hinge up like this. We're going to loosen up this white piece back here just a little bit, just enough to kind of get the clearance to pop these legs out, just like that. And these legs do tap together via this little peg, but that most likely when you're pulling this off, these will just come off. So here we have the legs here. Now, with that out of the way, what we're going to do is we're going to take these side panels and we're just going to move them up. They do tap into the side of the face, so it might take a little bit of doing. It's always on camera when it doesn't really want to work properly. So there we go. So that would pop up. It's on a double hinge, and same on the other side. Just give that a nice tug, and that should come right off just like that. So we're going to double hinge both of those up, and here we can now take this forehead piece and just kind of hinge it up and have it flat against his back, just like so. Now with these arms, we're going to take this purple flap, we're going to fold that down, we're going to unhinge his arms rather, and fold out the hands. The same on the other side, fold down this purple piece, unhinge his arms, and fold out the hands. And basically all that's left to do is just take this piece and just fold that down. We got his nice white tab that's going to peg into this slot right there. And here, more or less, we have Lord Zarak in his deluxe robot mode form. And for these horns here, what we're going to do is there's this big tab that's just going to peg into this side here. It doesn't actually stay the best, but I mean, it stays in, but if you touch it, more likely than not, they will just fall out. So, whoops, I'm bumping into the camera. So here we kind of just peg him on the back, and it kind of just gives him like a little cape kind of a deal. So that is that. Now, articulation for this guy, head is on a ball joint, so we can kind of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We can move these arms all the way around. This is what I'm saying. It kind of gets in the way of articulation as well, just all the way around here. We can go out to the side just about that much. We have a bicep rotation here. We have a double bend at the elbow, and the fists flip in and out. Now this kind of shoulder flap piece is on a little bit of articulation as well. You can see that kind of wiggles, but not really enough to give him the clearance that he needs for full arm articulation. Now we do have a waist swivel as well as a kick that goes up that far forward. We get this kind of out of the way, that far back. I have a thigh rotation. We have a knee bend that goes just past 90, but it does bend the other way as well for transformation. And we also have a foot pivot that goes to about 45 degrees. So pretty good articulation for an accessory figure. I would say this is better than the Teletran 1 figure that came with Kingdom Arc. And we do have a little bit of purple paint right here, some paint on his face, some silver paint there, and everything else is pretty much just about the same. But wait, this guy actually is a headmaster himself as well. Now, his head pops off. I'm just going to put him here. So I actually don't remember the exact name for this guy, but here we have Lord Zarak's head, and I think that's like a dog hair or just like a molding thing with plastic, but I'll take care of that later. But here we have Lord Zarak's head. And to transform this guy is extremely simple. We're just going to take these legs, fold them down, and that is it. You see we got a nice little head with red paint for the eyes, and the rest of the body is just, sorry, there's just the silver paint here on the back of the face. And we get these arms that can flip out. It's very hard to get because they're really small. So these hands can flip out. They're on ball joints, so they can go up just about that far and then all the way down. Head is on a ball joint as well, because if you think about it, this is the connection spot for Lord Zarak's neck. So it has to be able to kind of move around. And we got two hinges here, one at his hips and one at his knee. So he can kind of take a seat, and there actually is a spot that we can sit even in Scorponok, which I'll show off later on. So let's get this guy back into his head mode for Lord Zarak. And let's plop him back on Lord Zarak. And let's put him off to the side. Let's take a look at Scorponok himself now. Like I said, he is a triple changer. So again, this is the battle station mode. Now, the first transformation we're going to do is to put him in his giant scorpion mode, which is actually not that hard. I would say the transformation for this guy is a little bit more complicated than Kingdom Arc, but it's still not that bad. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip this piece down again, and we want to unpeg this kind of big piece right here. This will become his shield later on in robot mode. So I'm going to try to do this on camera, but no guarantees here. We're just going to wiggle this out. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just trying to pull it off here. There we go. And I just want you to see, so we got two pegs here that would peg into these two holes back here. So this is his shield. So we're going to take that off, put them off to the side. We're also going to pop off these side panels here as well. So we're just going to wiggle, 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 and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. just like so. And these are 2 pieces as well. We have a little shield piece and the cannon piece. So we're gonna do that on the other side as well. Just gonna wiggle that out. And same down here. That was easier. We're gonna unpeg that. I'm just gonna leave that right here. So now I can sit down, hopefully. Now we're gonna start putting him into his scorpion mode, as I said. We're gonna take this big flap piece, we're gonna fold that down. We're gonna take these side flaps, we're gonna fold those in as well. We're gonna do the same on the other side. Just fold that in. And now what we're gonna do, let me just get all this stuff out of the way, because it is getting in the way. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of unpeg this piece. So this ramp piece actually pegs into kind of like the crotch area for the robot mode. And again, it's easier to peg in and not as easy to unpeg. So, okay, so I unpegged that. Basically what it was is there's this big peg piece right here that clips into this slot right here. Now with that out of the way, we're just gonna kind of let that drop down and flop for a little bit. We're going to put him down again. We're gonna fold up these little flaps here. Excuse me. Fold it up like that. We're gonna take these flaps, we're gonna flip them all the way around and just down, all the way around and just down as well. Now there's a little bit of, I don't know how I would describe it. We just gotta rotate some of these joints around until they actually fit properly. So we're going to rotate these joints down 90 degrees like this first, 90 degrees. And then we're gonna take these joints, we're gonna fold them up 90 degrees. And then we're gonna bring these guys down. And at this point, we're also going to rotate these joints up like so. And here we can actually put these guys down, bumping into the camera as usual. Just another day in giant figure reviews. So everything should be good. Let me realign the camera. We're gonna take these flaps now, we're gonna fold them down, or whoops, rather. Okay, so I'm an idiot and I screwed up. I had these joints completely turned around. Basically, you want the flat surface up here. And then that will allow you to take these flaps and just fold them down. And now we're gonna fold these flush against the body here. And we're just gonna fold them down all the way like that. And then we're gonna take this tab and it's gonna go into this hole right here and that'll just secure this leg down in this position. I'm just gonna peg that in. We're gonna do the same on the other side. Just fold that all the way down. Sorry, I probably won't get this on camera, but it's okay. Fold that down all the way and just peg that piece in, just like so. And now these legs are all on his back. Now this next part, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this top flap first, we're gonna fold that down, and then we're gonna take these two little pegs, you can probably see this guy and this guy, and that's just going to peg into these kind of clips here. So we're gonna peg them in. But before we do that, actually, so there's a peg that actually pegs under the crotch. This might become undone. If it does, just kind of peg that back. And we want to just kind of fold this hinge up 90 degrees like that, and then keep that up like that. And that'll give us the reach that we need to peg in these side panels here. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. And here we pretty much have the tail mostly done. We're going to take this flap piece, we're going to fold that out. Then we're going to take this orange piece, we're going to fold that out, and then we're going to take this top piece and we're going to fold out the stinger. And here we pretty much have the tail for Scorponok all done. We're almost there. Just hang with me. So the lower half of the Scorpion is completely done. We're just going to have to deal with the arms now. So now these legs are just like legs, we'll deal with them later. So we're gonna take this hand, rotate this like this, same on the other side, rotate that like that. And then we're just gonna drop these arms down. And I'm really running out of room here because like I said, this guy's absolutely massive. I'm gonna flip that down and we're gonna hinge this out. And then we can fold this however we want. I'm gonna open the hands here as well. And the same on the other side. Fold that back like so. Open the hands, position the claws however you see fit. And from here, we're gonna fold these legs up and fold out the feet. And these legs, the articulation on them is not the best. They only hinge here at the toe, and then here at the base where they connects to the body. There are, what should I say? Upgrade kits, right, that actually gave him ball joint legs. So you can actually kind of position those legs, spread them out. It's much better. I might get those later on if I am able to find it, but for now, I'm just gonna stick with what I got, and I'm pretty happy with what I got. So I'm gonna push him back a little bit so we can actually have him in frame. Now, all that's left to do is this guy. We're gonna change him back into his robot mode, and then we're gonna plug it on the head. So give me a second, I'm gonna do this off camera. And here we have the head all transformed again. So what we're going to do is we're gonna take this little connection part, and this is going to fit. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little hole in there, and then basically these clips around the side here will just clip into these grooves on the side as well. So we're just gonna line that up, push that in, and here we have the scorpion head all attached. And here we finally have the beast mode, or the scorpion mode for Scorponok, all completed. And this guy is just absolutely massive. I would say his reach is definitely bigger than the arc because he's all spread out, where the arc is actually more of a tight, compact figure. Now for the paint, we see that there isn't really much difference compared to the city mode. We do see more of the claws here. We got some nice orange and gunmetal paint on here. As we said earlier, we have the head with the red eyes and these kind of pincers here on the side. We see more of this chest here, which we'll take a look at in robot mode, so I'm not going to worry too much. And we do see that he has a giant orange stinger. If we roll him here, we see we got these legs, as I mentioned, just on hinges, nothing much. And yeah, that's just about it for this guy. There's really not much in this mode either. He's basically just a static display piece. Now, in terms of articulation, as you probably saw, these legs are on hinges down here, as well as here for the toes as well. Now for the tail, this big piece is static, but we do have a hinge here. We have a hinge here. We also have a hinge here. Now, you probably see that there's a little nub here. You can actually attach an effect piece, which I do have here. And again, for those that do have Siege Jetfire, yes, this is the exact same effect piece, and he only comes with one. So for a Titan class figure, I kind of expected a little bit more, but yeah, it is what it is. So we can take this kind of port here, we can attach that onto this little nub, line that up, give it a press, and here we can have Scorponok shooting poison, blasters, whatever, out of his tail. So that is that. We can take that off and spin him around back to the front so we can finish off the articulation right now. Now the arms, we can rotate these up pretty much as far as you want. We can have them bend in this far, right in front of his face. We can have them go out this far, just like that. We do have a rotation here at the wrist. And we also have a pivot, kind of like a hinge at the claw that can pretty much go 90 degrees and that far back. And these claws open that far, and this one goes that far in and out. And he's got two big fingers that kind of close and straighten out just like that. Now for his head, it is on a rotation. You can rotate all the way around. You can also tilt downwards just like that. And that is pretty much it for the articulation for the beast mode. Now, for his accessories, we can actually store them on this guy. So with these guns, we want to take these ports and we can these pegs, attach them onto these ports right here on the shoulders, just like that. That way you can have him blasting Autobot scum. And for these panels here, basically what we're going to do is we're going to take these pegs and ports, we're just going to peg them onto the side of this leg right here. And if I remember correctly, this one is here. We're We're going to take these ports, plug them onto the side. Just like that. And same on the other side. We can just peg it in. But you just know I won't do it on camera because it's too much work. And finally, we have this giant shield piece which can attach to the back of the tail. And we're going to take these two pegs and we're just going to attach it to, you can see that we got two little ports down here. We're going to close up the claw. I peg that in. And that is storage for the shield. So yeah. And that is Scorponok in his giant scorpion mode. Alright, and next let's get Scorponok into his robot mode, which is of course what everyone's waiting for. But before we actually do that, let's just have a quick comparison. So here I have the Kingdom Deluxe Predacon Scorponok, and just for a quick comparison here, we can clearly see there is a huge difference between these guys. But this figure isn't really bad, he's just really small. We'll take a look at him later on when we actually do a review of him, but just in the meantime, you can actually see the two Scorponoks, so there is that. And there's actually one more gimmick that I want to show off before we actually get into the transformation. Excuse me. And to do that, we're actually going to rip off his head, just right here. Make sure that pops out good. And we're going to pop off the headmaster right here for Lord Zarak. We're actually going to pop Lord Zarak back in himself. And next what we're going to do is we're going to lift up this chest piece. Now normally the instructions tell you to unfold these legs so that you get the clearance. However, you can still do this without unfolding the legs. All you're going to do is just lift this piece up. You just got to push these legs back a little bit and there you go. You can lift that piece up just like that. Now if I lift this up and you guys actually take a look, you'll see that right in the middle of that gray piece is actually like a little seat kind of a deal. And that's for the headmaster. So we're just going to unfold him just like that. We're going to lift up the hands and then, so that it looks like he's actually piloting, driving the whole Scorponok thing. So we're just going to have him in a seated position just like that. And this little peg will just peg into the middle of that seat right there. And we're just going to make sure he sits up straight. Make sure his hands are up as well, and then we can just close this down, make sure these legs are out of the way when we do that, just like that. And here we have the headmaster piloting the entire Scorponok robot, so that's pretty cool. Now with that out of the way, let's get on with the transformation for this guy. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with the legs, and actually we're going to start off with the tail. So as we saw before, we're going to fold this stinger down, we're going to fold that back. And one thing that I actually forgot is the shield piece is pegged in back here. So we're going to pull that out like so and just leave it off to the side. We're going to take this section, fold it all the way down. And then we're going to unpeg this piece from the backs of the legs. So I'm going to pop that on this side and then on this side and just drop that down. Take this flap, fold it back. And that's pretty much good for that in the meantime. I'm just going to push this whole thing back because we're going to need more room. Now, I'm going to unfold these purple flaps on the side. I'm just going to pop them loose and pop them up just like so, and they will tab into place. There is a little peg hole that's going to peg on top of this peg right here, but we're actually not going to peg it in all the way just yet. We're going to do the same on the other side as well. Just untab that piece, which sometimes is a little harder. There we go. And then we're going to fold these legs up like so first, just to get them out of the way. And then we're going to stand this guy up, but we're not actually going to put him on his feet yet because we need to do more things. Now, this is a workout, of course. We're going to straighten these legs all the way. Do the same on the other side, just straighten that out all the way. We're going to move this big flap piece backwards. Now, if you guys don't know what I was talking about before, we see that there's this little clip here that just pegs into this little tab here for both Battle Station as well as Scorpion mode. So normally that would stay pegged in. For robot mode, we're going to unpeg that. And this will allow us to rotate this entire lower torso section 180 degrees. Oh, dear God. Bear with me here. Just like that. Now with that done, we can fold out the feet on both sides, just like so. And then we can take this flap, wrap it around, take this peg, peg it into that port, just to clean up the leg, and same on the other side. Fold that back and around, and we can finally stand Scorponok up on his legs so I don't have to carry this gigantic monster of a figure. Woo! What a workout. Okay, so now to finish off the feet, actually, we can flip out the foot right here, just like that. That'll clip down. Same on the other side, fold it out, clip down, and that's pretty much it for the legs. Now, let's take our attention to the back here, and I'm going to lean this camera up, and hopefully it can stay in this position here without falling down. Whew, just take a breath. Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this flap, fold that all the way in, and then we're gonna have to fold all of these legs into the body. Now, there's a specific way of doing it, and I'm actually not sure what the best way is. We just kind of have to kind of fiddle with it until it actually fits in all the way, because you want it to fit in all the way flat so that the two sides don't actually interfere with each other, as well as we need this piece to kind of cover everything up later on. So, okay, kind of just like that, where everything kind of fits in flush. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to lift this piece up, and I don't know if you can actually see that. There's two clips over here that's going to peg into, I'm going to raise the camera up a little bit more. There's two little grooves right here that these pieces right here will clip into. So we're going to fold that up and make sure that clips in first on both sides. And with that out of the way, what we're going to do next is fold this giant piece up, and you probably won't see much, but the only thing that you really need to see is that these little pegs here on both sides will now peg into these little grooves right here. So fold everything up, line everything up, give it a press, and there the backpack is all done. So we're gonna flip them facing forward now, raise it up even more, and the camera's gonna fall over now almost because he's so damn tall. We're gonna rotate these arms down, just like that. Same on the other side, rotate it down, just like that. We're gonna drop these arms, make sure they fold up like that. And then we can give him an elbow bend on both sides. And we're pretty much done. We're gonna flip the head all the way around so that we actually get his face. And of course, the Titan, or rather the headmaster, is still in his chest, so you can't even see his face. There we go. Hi. So the headmaster is actually still in his chest. You can take it out and put it on Lord Zarak and put it back on his head, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference because he can't see it, so yeah. And just the finishing touches, we're going to take these two cannon pieces, and we're just going to take these ports, peg it into that center hole right here on his shoulder. Make sure everything lines up. It's hard to see sometimes. Just like that. Same on the other side. Whoops. Line everything up, peg it in. And that is pretty much it for Scorponok. Robot mode. Now, you can take these two pieces and plug them onto the sides of the legs as well. Pretty easy. We see there's these four outer kind of holes. We're just going to peg them onto these little, these four pegs right here. And it doesn't really matter which side's which, as long as you kind of peg it in. Just peg it in just like that, and do the other side as well. Just make sure everything lines up and pegs in. And that, in a nutshell, is Earthrise Scorponok. You can store this shield as well, but you can also put it on his arm. We're just going to take these two pegs, take either arm, and just plug it into these two ports right here. And we have Scorponok with his shield. Oh, what a workout. Now, for articulation, of course, head we already saw, just like before. Arms are just like the Scorpion mode arms as well, but now we do have a elbow, and we also have a elbow rotation. We can bend this arm down like this. That's as far as it'll go, but it can also go flush like that. The hand kind of bends forward a little bit. We get a little bit of motion here. The thumb is on a hinge, and these two claws are on a hinge as well. We do get a waist rotation that we saw with transformation. The legs can kick forward, they can kick back, provided that you loosen up these flaps on the back so that he actually gets that full articulation backwards. We do have a thigh rotation. We can get the legs out to the side, and we get a double bend at the knee that we saw for transformation. And going down to the feet, we can bend him forward. So let's show that off. The toes can actually, sorry, they can't, but they can tilt in and out. And if you kind of undo these panels on the side, you can actually kind of have the foot bend back a little bit as well. So, yeah. What a figure, right? So, with that out of the way, let's get some quick comparisons. I'm just gonna move this guy back, maybe a little bit more, just like that. And here we have him next to Siege, Omega Supreme, as well as Kingdom, Autobot, Arc. And out of the three of these guys, he's actually the tallest one. And I would say probably his transformation is the most complex because he is technically a triple changer. The Arc here has the most basic transformation. He looks good, but the transformation is very basic. He does come with quite a bit of accessories, so I guess that kind of evens that out. Whereas Omega Supreme here is a parts former, which actually isn't really bad because that's how he's supposed to be. So yeah, three gigantic figures really just kind of close out the whole War for Cybertron Titan line. These are very, very nice figures, highly detailed, and very good articulation for their size as well. I know Hasbro and Takara really stepped up their game recently compared to like that first original Titan that was released. I think it was Metroplex back in, I would say close to 10 years ago now. But from then until now, I'm definitely really, really impressed with what Takara and Hasbro have done. Of course, these figures aren't perfect, but they're really good for their size as well as the price you're paying. Now, like I probably mentioned either in this video or in the Kingdom Arc video that I actually just got the Scorponok recently as well. He was originally released, I think, over a year ago when Earthrise first came out. I hesitated then. I didn't pick him up because I thought he was just going to sit around like some of the older Titan figures, but little did I know he sold out very, very quick. And I actually didn't think I was able to get him until recently when I saw that they were doing a restock of this guy. So I jumped on that and I picked it up. So here he is. I completed the Titan line, and I would highly urge you to do the same if you are trying to track these guys down, especially some of these older ones like these two guys here. The Arc just released, but these two guys came out a year, 2, 3 years ago. So if you are looking to find this guy, definitely jump on that right now. TF Source, Big Bad Toy Store, ages 3 and up, anywhere that you can find him, try to get him if you are looking for him, because if you wait, more likely than not, he will sell out, and you're going to have to pay a lot of money to get him on the aftermarket. So that's my review for the War for Cybertron Earthrise Titan Class Scorponok. Excellent figure, excellent figure. A little bit pricey now, but other than that, nothing else to say. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. And until next time, guys, take care.